Next, I'll walk through how the infrastructure is defined as code using Terraform. At the root of the repo, I have an infrastructure folder. In backend.tf, I configure Terraform to use an S3 backend for state with the DynamoDB lock table. This backend points Terraform at a dedicated S3 bucket for state with encryption and locking. That means my state isn't local to my desktop. It's stored centrally and protected during applies, just like it'd be in a team setting. In providers.tf, I pin the Terraform and AWS providers versions and set the default AWS region to US-East-1. Keeping this in its own file makes it easy to see exactly which provider versions the project depends on and which region the stack targets. Variables.tf defines inputs like the root domain name, the www alternative name, and common set of tags. I can override these with the terraform.tf-vars file if I ever want a staging environment with a different domain. Main.tf is where I create the public Route 53 hosted zone for texas-shiners.com, and then call a static underscore site module that encapsulates all of the S3, CloudFront, ACM, and DNS resources. In the module static underscore site block, I pass in the domain name, the www alternative name, the hosted zone ID, and some configuration like the default root object and CloudFront price class, along with the standard tags. Inside the modules folder, static underscore site folder, variables.tf defines the module's inputs, domain name, alternative names, hosted zone ID, whether logging is enabled, and tags map. That lets me reuse this module in other environments just by changing the variables. Inside the modules folder, then inside the static underscore site folder, the main.tf, you can see the full stack of resources that make the site work. An S3 bucket for the website that blocks public access, a CloudFront origin access control attached to that bucket, an ACM certificate in US-East-1 with DNS validation records in Route 53, the CloudFront distribution wire to use that certificate and the S3 origin, and Route 53 alias records that point the domain and www to the distribution. The nice part is that once this module is written, I can stand up or tear down the entire stack with Terraform apply and Terraform destroy. If I ever needed to migrate the site to a different AWS account, I can reuse the same module and know I'll get an identical setup.